Okay, so welcome everybody to today's call. My name is Jackie Boyle, and I am here with the esteemed Dr. Joseph Ahrens, dual-nominated Nobel Prize scientist, and we are so blessed to have him to be able to access the knowledge that he has and to be able to educate us as we move forward with the brilliant products with Emulin and 24/7. But what we're going to be talking about today with Dr. Ahrens is a really important topic, and we're looking at inflammation and the symptoms of inflammation and what it can do and what it has done to the body and how we can look at addressing those issues with inflammation. So I'll hand it over to you, Dr. Ahrens.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, having me on this Thanksgiving evening, the U.S. Thanksgiving, and actually several countries have some type of a harvest festival. Take this time of the year to reflect on what they're thankful for. And, you know, I am, like you mentioned, I am thankful that I'm here in the U.S. We do have full range of products and companies available to us. This is a year that people have suffered through on COVID and dealing with this pandemic. And, you know, it's really about your attitude. I've got people that in my family that have cancer, people that have gone through this pandemic. Some of them have gotten sick, and some of them have lost their jobs because of this. But you know what? It's about what's inside of you. And being positive is the best medicine that you could ever have. And I'm very thankful for the opportunities that we have. I'm very thankful to have been able to join with Valentis and to help us distribute some of our products by Dr. Joseph Ahrens Group, to get them out to people and they can experience the health that they were meant to have. So there's a lot to be thankful for. And one of the things I'm thankful for is several years ago, the discovery that we made that there are flavonoids that are meant to be in human diets that support the immune system and they manage inflammation. That's really what this is all about. And so I like to talk about this very often because everyone needs to have an understanding. Well, what are your products, Dr. Ahrens? And we have several products, and not just the few that people have heard about. That most all of them are focused on support of the immune system and managing inflammation. So inflammation is involved in almost every disease that you have. Very few that are not at least related somewhat to inflammation, and some of them are entirely due to inflammation, like arthritis, bronchitis. All of these itises mean inflammation. Inflammation is very important for your body. It's part of the healing process. It's part of the recognition of that there's a problem going on, and then it's part of the healing process. We need it. But unfortunately, when it's not managed properly, it can get out of control and disease can result. So we have found that there are a group of flavonoids. These are usually coming from the product of fruits and vegetables that are the colored parts. That's where most of these are, just like that's where most vitamins are. They're in the colored parts of the fruits and vegetables. And we know we've got to have vitamin C, and we know we've got to have all the vitamins, A, D, E, K, all of them, for our bodies to function properly. What we didn't know until fairly recently is we also need to have these flavonoids. They are just like a vitamin. They're necessary to be in your diet so that your inflammation and your immune system is managed. Without management, well, just like when you don't have vitamin C, your immune system doesn't do as well. Also, you have trouble with your bones and your joints, and they wear out. Vitamin C and D are very closely related. You don't get it right, calcium uptake, your bones can break, they become brittle. Well, we know that. But what we found out was these flavonoids, they're just as necessary for your body to function properly. Even if you are a very healthy person, you think you're healthy, an Olympic person, an athlete, you're not as healthy as you could be, because your immune system, if you don't have enough flavonoids in your body, it's not operating where it should be. So if an athlete were to take some of these flavonoids, they find out that they can run further on the same fuel, or they have less aches and pains. Their knees don't hurt as much, so they can run further, or they can go faster. That's very, very common. And we have professional athletes that do take these flavonoids, and they respond positively like that. But also, if you're on the other side of the spectrum, you're a couch potato. Maybe you'd like to be active, but you can't get around because of arthritis or, broken bone even. Well, that's your immune system. And then inflammation is important to fix you, to help those wound repair, to help broken bones repair. Inflammation is there. It brings in needed vitamins, other chemicals, red blood cells, white blood cells, the scaffolding to start building new bones and tissue. That's all part of inflammation. So it's inflamed because the capillaries expand and their blood flows into the area and it looks redder. That looks like it's on fire. And for the same reason, it gets warmer, more blood flow to a wounded area. And then the original doctors that discovered this, they thought, oh, the body's on fire. It's inflamed. And we now know it's because the body was actually a lot of energy going in there trying to repair itself. And then what happens without flavonoids? Well, your body just keeps trying to fight that fight. And eventually it can not only attack whatever the poison was or the issue, the broken bone, that it ends up starting to attack healthy cells. And that leads into autoimmune responses. And then that's what is an autoimmune response? Well, like rheumatoid arthritis, or psoriasis, Crohn's disease, leaky bowel syndrome. These are all autoimmune responses where your body is actually attacking itself. And it's really from some trigger that turned on the immune system, which came from that, the inflammation pathway. And then it released all of these good chemicals for us, but enough is enough and too much is very detrimental. So you need these flavonoids to manage that. Now, we can talk about a broken bone, a splinter, a poison, something in the environment that bothers you, hay fever, which is usually pollen that's bothering people. And then you have an immune response and an inflammatory response, and you get itchy eyes, your face can get red. That's all the immune response going on. That's all inflammation, localized. But what people don't realize is that inflammation actually occurs everywhere throughout the body. These cells they don't have any brain attached to them. They're just floating around randomly in your body, and they eventually find the site where you're damaged, because that site is pumping out chemicals. So it's like going down a stream. Your capillaries like a river, and then they've come across a wound, and it's putting out a bunch of chemicals saying, here's the damage, here's the damage. And then your cells put out chemicals to start repairing it, and then actually release other cells, and they go back and get some buddies, and they come back with all the good stuff you need to repair yourself. But while they're floating around looking for damage, they're actually going all over your body. And if you have chronic inflammation, low-grade chronic inflammation, which you will get if you consume too much sugar, too much refined sugar, that turns your whole body into an inflammation site. All the lining of your capillaries, your whole blood network, the vessels inside your brain, it becomes inflamed, especially if your body can't find a particular wound somewhere. It's just constantly going all over your body, looking, chewing, detecting. It eventually just eats up the lining of your capillaries. Then it can start attacking your nerves. And then that can get into some neuropathy at your extremities, toes and fingers. Then your body actually starts dying because of chronic low-grade inflammation. And very often, the reason that you have that chronic inflammation is because you don't have enough flavonoids in your diet. So really, that is the story. Inflammation is beneficial. We have to have it. We die without it, but it needs to be managed and told when to stop. And this is what these group of flavonoids are. They are just like vitamins that are there to manage the inflammatory pathway, to manage your immune system. Now, I've been asked many times, so, well, I'll just eat a proper diet. Surely, if I eat enough oranges, I'll get enough vitamin C. And if I eat enough, dark green vegetables, I'll get enough the vitamin A. So I'll just eat whatever I can to get enough flavonoids. Well, unfortunately, two things have happened. First of all, we didn't recognize these flavonoids were that important until just a decade or so ago. And over the years, the hundreds of years that we've been breeding plants, fruits and vegetables, we didn't pay attention to these flavonoids. And the flavonoid level has dropped over the years, dropped, and now they're very low. Even the fruits such as dark berries, muscadine grapes in particular, that's an ancient grape. It has the highest amount of these flavonoids of all, but they're still very low compared to what they were a few hundred years ago. So we can't eat enough now. You'd have to eat kilograms, like 10, 20 kilograms of these grapes every day to just get enough of the flavonoids that you need. And I think everybody knows that they couldn't eat that many grapes. They'll have more problems than just a bad immune system if they eat 10 kilograms of grapes every single day. And also, onions and those things have a lot of these flavonoids in them. Well, you just can't eat a bushel of onions. So we have concentrated these flavonoids and put them in capsules so you can take a couple of capsules and you'll get your daily need. Now, if you have a problem, arthritis or whatever, your body needs these flavonoids to rebuild itself. So you're going to have to take more initially. Instead of a couple of capsules, instead of 500 milligrams a day, you probably should be taking 6 or 8 until you get your systems under control. You'll feel comfortable, and then you can drop back down. So we do not cure any diseases with flavonoids. We're not claiming that. We're supporting the immune system. We are managing the inflammatory pathway. Your body heals itself. So Jackie, that's really it in a nutshell. And I'll tell you one more thing though. Most people in the US today, and some in Canada is coming real soon, and in some places in the world, hit a huge meal today. And I'll guarantee you their bodies are on fire. First of all, you eat a lot of things you shouldn't eat, a lot of refined carbs. I had pumpkin pie. What am I going to do? My daughter came and said, hey, I baked this pumpkin pie. I'm going to say, oh, I don't eat that. No, I had a piece of it. And then my wife says, well, here, gave you some apple pie. Well, I eat that. And then I got the mashed potatoes. Well, I eat that too. And then they get a sweet potato casserole, and I can't believe how much I had to eat. And I'm a guy that take care of myself. I usually eat a low carb diet, but today, man, I tell you, I have sinned. Forgive me, Lord. I have sinned. I've got to recover, and my body is going to fight that. And those refined carbs are going to turn my inflammatory cascade on, and it's going to be a while. It's a little rough. And also because it's food that I'm not used to every single day, all the biomes inside me, they're going to react to that strange food coming inside me, and they're going to put out a bunch of chemicals, because before they understand what's going on, they're going to think I was poisoned. And if it is refined sugar, that absolutely, refined sugar is a poison. We've talked about that at another time. Refined carbohydrates are a poison. Your body acts like it's a poison, and boom, here comes inflammation. So today I'm well reminded of the inflammatory pathway that I myself have to be aware of.
So Dr. Ahrens, I know that what you've spoken about for us is always invaluable knowledge, and we really do thank you for that. But I'd like to ask you a couple of questions just to clarify things for people, because they're regular questions that happen all the time. So in the situation of today, you've had your family and you've had a really big meal, and they're foods that you normally wouldn't eat. So you know, your regular dose of Emulin is 2 capsules a day. So even if, you know, for myself, it's 6 to 8 a day. So whoever you may be, and you have a really big Thanksgiving dinner, and we've got Christmas that's coming up as well, what would you suggest, just as a rule of thumb to people? What are you going to do yourself today to be able to support your body with Emulin and 24/7 because of what your health choices have been with your food today?
Well, when I approach a day like this, I take 6 capsules. There's a couple of reasons for that. I know I'm going to be bombarded with things, even though I'm trying to be a good boy. I'm going to get them, so I try to prepare for that. I take this morning, I got up and took 6 capsules, and I don't take 6 capsules every day, but for the next couple of days, I'll take them. There's a couple of reasons. One of them is because some of these flavonoids act directly with the enzymes, even in your mouth, that start converting starches to sugars, and they're consumed in that reaction. So I need more because I'm taking in more of those. Now I saturate my body every day. I take a couple of capsules, and so my blood level of these flavonoids is high all the time. I've had my blood checked. Doctor, heal yourself. So I look at my own level, and I keep it pretty high. But knowing I'm going to be taking in a bunch of extra food that my body's not familiar with, then I'll take some more for that. Same thing's going to happen, at the end of the year. Then there's some people who have a New Year's Day meal, and throughout these holidays. But listen, don't say I'm going to take it and then I can eat some extra cookies. Don't have that mindset. Take the extra in case you eat those cookies, but I'm not giving you a license to eat properly. Try to eat properly all the time, please. The second thing, though, is, Jackie, is we're in some very tough times right now with this pandemic, and I want my immune system to be strong during this period, even though I feel good and when I'm eating properly, like I was at the beginning of the week. I'm taking 4 a day because I know that my immune system, if it is topped up, is going to resist and fight anything that comes along, including the issues around this pandemic. And so I'm not as mindful of that. I'm feeling my immune system is really able to resist any type of invasion by some type of pathogen. So I'm not particularly fighting a pathogen that's coming into my body. We do not cure or prevent any diseases, but I'm boosting my immune system up. And there's a couple of other products that Valentis has that are good for your immune system, and you ought to look at those too. But you take Emulin and then top it off with 24/7. Your body's immune system is going to be as good as it can be if you continue to eat, have a healthy lifestyle. So last year I took a couple a day, but this year, since March, I'm taking 4 every day. 4 every day.
Okay, well, I was interested just to hear what you were going to respond with, because I'm sure there's a few people here that are sitting back and feeling like that they've got a food coma because they've probably had more than what they normally would do. So it's good to know what to do. I will say, and this is as we're not curing, healing, or fixing anything here, we're not making any claims, but looking at even alcohol. Um, I'm a social drinker, and I know when I was over doing business with yourself in March, Dr. Ahrens, like most days would be enjoying a beverage, and you'd be eating different food than what you normally did have. And I'm on 6 to 8 a day, but for that whole trip, I was on 12 Emulin a day, and I came back healthier than when I left, because it was able to support and assist my body to be able to process the excess foods in refined carbs and sugars that I was having, to be able to ensure that my immune system was supported through these flavonoids that I wasn't getting in my diet, and poor sleep as well, and all of the things that you do when you are traveling. So it is quite interesting, and it's good to hear you put your thought patterns in there, Dr. Ahrens. But I've got one area that I wanted to ask you in regards to inflammation, because there's 3 key areas that are often asked about when it comes to using Emulin. And that is when we're starting people off and they start with Emulin, whether they're elderly, they have a lot of conditions that they're dealing with, and they're on a lot of medications. all of those three combined together is a really big challenge for anybody, but any of those on their own, whether they're elderly, they've got a lot of medical conditions that they're trying to navigate through, but also if they're on a lot of scripted medications as well. What are your suggestions for people when they are starting on Emulin? What should their the recommended dose be for them when they commence in that situation?
Well, it's a good question, and we are asked that often. First of all, there are no drug interactions with with these flavonoids. There's no drug interactions, and you can't overdose on them either, because if you take too much, you either eliminate it through the urine system or migrates to your skin, and it leaves through the pores in your skin and actually makes your skin quite healthy. So you don't have to worry about that. But people, being who they are, they all respond differently to different foods, and these flavonoids are foods. They're not synthetic. We extract them out of foods, and you change your diet. It's like a little bit like changing your diet. You have to be aware of your own body. That some people can't eat a bell pepper. They have trouble with just eating that one bell pepper. Me, it doesn't bother me a bit. So everybody is a little different. So I would say, if you take Amylin 2, 4, 6, you got a problem. I've seen that people say, oh, I got arthritis and I'm going to support my immune system. And they take 10 and just too much for them. And their body just doesn't want to get out of balance like that so quickly. It's wanting to have the old bad system. It doesn't want to have some of these good things. It's not used to it. And it's not just you, but it's also the stuff that's living in your gut. That's usually where the problem is. They have to respond to that different environment, and they adjust their own metabolism. So I would tell those people, maybe if you're going to start, that you're going to ultimately need a lot because you're dealing with some condition. You need to start out slowly. Even just take one and go a week or so, and then you feel okay, well, then take 2 and then go another week and just build up slowly. And at any time you start to feel, I don't feel good, I got a headache, or or my stomach isn't feeling good, just cut back. This isn't rocket science. So just cut back and go longer on 2 and then go to 3, and you can get up to where you want. There's people that have to do that. Some other people doesn't bother them at all. They decide, okay, I think I'm getting a cold, so they just take 10 for several days, and they can switch back and forth. But I know plenty of people that can't do that. They got to go slowly. So I say slowly. Moderation is best. Moderation in all things, yin and yang. That is my recommendation. Take one capsule, and you don't, if you don't like capsules, you can mix it into some beverage that you have. You can put it in your coffee. You can sprinkle it on your breakfast, on top of your eggs or something. And you can actually make up a drink. I actually make a shake for myself in the afternoon. I just throw everything in there very often. I'm taking some vitamin D, and I'm, of course, take Emulin and another multivitamin. I just throw everything in this shake, and I drink it, either, if not all at once, use that a couple of times in the day. There are different ways to consume it. And so, but you may find out that you should let yourself get used to that change in your diet.
So I think, Dr. Ahrens, like when you're talking about that, just again, from my perspective, to clear things up so that I understand, and for others as well, is that the body finds an imbalance. Like when you bring something new into the body, there's inflammation that's present. There's things that people may be dealing with, conditions that medical conditions. And when you introduce something into the body and the body has to make change to accommodate for it, it becomes at dis-ease, or there's an imbalance. So it takes time to unravel and find a new balance for the body to feel comfortable. So if I can say anything to people, and I think you would agree, that sometimes to where we get to a point of where we notice that we have something that is changing our lives through something that we're not happy with, the body's struggling with it. It doesn't generally happen in a week unless it's a break or if it's a burn or something like that. But if you do have fibromyalgia, if you were suffering with arthritis, psoriasis, it's usually something that has taken time to get to. So it might be 12 months, it could be 5 years. So it's going to take time for the body to unravel and come back to where it's being able to be supported and assisted with this vitamin to make the body feel better. So allowing it that time is something that I think that people really need to understand. I've got a question here, Dr. Ahrens, too, from that if we can answer this for Alba, that she's actually is a lady that has quite a fair few things here that she's confronted with. So I think it would be right. I apologize for my pronunciation here, but I think it's Surrogen. Is it Surrogen syndrome?
Yeah.
And then
Sorry.
is it anti-fissalofibid? Anti-fissalofibid. Sorry, can you look in the chat too and have a look?
Antiphospholipids.
Oh,
Antiphospholipids.
Thank you. Fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, skin lupus, depression, anxiety, overweight. Oh my goodness, Alba. And Alba's question being,
It's a good package. It's a good package. Oh my God, it's terrible.
So what would your suggestion be, Dr. Ahrens, in regards to moving forward in the best way possible to be able to assist Alba with products to help her with this?
Yeah. Well, you know, it really doesn't matter how many disorders you're dealing with, or just one, none, one, a dozen. All of these, in fact, everything that, Alba, that you have is related back to your immune system, every single one. It just so happens that your DNA has dealt you a poor hand here, and you're getting somewhere in your life, you're getting bombarded with some type of an insult, which is what we call some environmental issue that's triggered this. And your DNA makeup has let off a cascade of chemicals, and they're attacking several different parts of your body. So, you know, one person can have be attacked by a particular insult, and this person will get fibromyalgia, and another one will get diabetes, another one get psoriasis. It's your own DNA makeup. When you release that, the boss of inflammation, which is tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF alpha, he's the general. He releases a cascade of chemicals in there that are meant to help you. And each one of those, though, is different for you, for Jackie, for me, and your body responds differently. But it doesn't really matter. Your problem is your immune system. You need these flavonoids, and you'll be the best you can be. And I think most of these will clear up.
The Zika syndrome is the most terrible, and the dryness in my mouth, because the chagrin is horrible.
Yes, I know it. That's terrible. But you just have to get your immune system on board and stop shutting yourself down. And I hope you're able to take these capsules, but if you're not, you do what I said, mix them in with some other food or a drink or beverage. And for people that are on different drugs for these different disorders, you need to be careful and watch that, because you're going to get better. If you're on a high blood pressure drug, a blood thinner, or you're on insulin, you're going to get better. You're going to need less of those drugs. So you need to be monitoring yourself. And if you can, please work with your physician. I'm nobody's personal physician. I can't be that by law, but you need to work with your healthcare professional, and you can tell them, you know, I'm taking this Emulin. They can just Google that and they'll see what's going on with it.
Yeah.
And also, I will correspond with any medical authority and tell them what is going on and what my views on this are. I'll be glad to do that. So you're going to need less medication. But one of the easiest ones to point out is something like insulin or Byetta, where you're taking a shot every day, or some insulin or metformin.
I don't have diabetes. Diabetes I don't have. No problem with diabetes. And I try to avoid to use medicines because I don't like too much medicine because I have fatty liver too.
Yes.
Fatty liver, and it's too much. And I know that the children can destroy the liver and the kidney.
Yeah.
My sister have Sjögren syndrome too, and she has a really kidney problem.
Yeah.
So I try to don't use any medication. So I'm taking now a Mulin M, 6 per day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is good or it's better take 8, or it's good to have Emulin M and Emulin C.
Okay. Well,
I
for your
would like
case,
to receive your recommendation, because I try to don't use any other medication, because I know that is not good for my kidney and for my liver.
well, it absolutely will support good liver health on top of your immune system, and you're also all of your insides. It will support a good intestinal environment. It will support good liver health and good kidney function. 6 sounds good, and I don't know what you weigh, but 6, if you're heavier, you should probably take 8. You can't take too much, as I said. It sounds to me like it's not bothering you. You're already taking 6 without any problems. But if you do increase them, try it for a week, see if it upsets your stomach. I would even take 8 to be on the safe side. You will get better. I feel comfortable. People, we've had tens of thousands of people are on this product, and everyone reports that they are improved. May not wake up one day and you're 100%, but you're going to be better for sure. I just know it. I guarantee it. You'll be better. You need it anyhow, whether you're sick or not. Everyone needs this product. It's just like saying I don't need vitamin C. Everybody needs vitamin C, and everybody needs these flavonoids. Now, I know that you are not diabetic, but I was making a point that there are people in the audience and people that will listen to this recording. They are on some drugs, and they need to be careful, and they may find out that they need to reduce those drugs as their body heals. Like your body will heal, your immune system will become more healthy and functional. Well, if you're on a drug, you probably need to reduce those drugs. Don't do it just on my word, though. You need to work in conjunction with your physician.
Okay, Dr. Ahrens, Albert, thank you so much for asking that question and for sharing that too. And if I can take away from what you've discussed today, Dr. Ahrens, like it's always, as I said, very informative, and we always learn something, because it's, listening to you just adds that little extra piece to your knowledge into the library, so to speak, into the brain, so that we can understand these products so much better. But the bottom line being, inflammation is a base root of literally most conditions and symptoms that our body is trying to navigate through. So if we're able to support the body and assist the body in lowering inflammation, our symptoms will thank us for it. And just to make sure that people that watch this later on, we are definitely not making any medical claims to heal, cure, and or fix. We just are providing information for you from the esteemed Dr. Joseph Ahrens, and we would like to thank you very much. And thank you so much, Dr. Ahrens. Is there anything that you would like to finish up on before we go today?
Well, everybody needs these flavonoids from babies as soon as they get on solid foods, right up to, from cradle to grave. Everyone needs these products that you can live the best life that you're able to live. That's it.
Okay, well, I thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And for those who do watch this, make sure you jump on board next week. Next week is testimonial week, so do not miss it. And thank you so much, Dr. Ahrens. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and I hope that you have a great evening and a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.